Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. Now, this is like experimental. I've been learning a lot more. A lot more, a lot more, a lot more. That Ivankov deck that y'all seen not too long ago had just taught me more about this game. It taught me the ideas of you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable and yada yada yada, right? So getting to the core point of it, when you look at the totality of this game, we getting some trigger summons. When you look at the totality of this game, right, and all the different things that are available, it is hard, and I do mean it. Like this game, easy to learn, hard to master. It is hard to figure out like particular game plans, routes, combos, or maybe combos is the easier part, right? Like we all can see a combo, and then it's like, well, how do we get to that? Hey, how do we set it up? So when playing the Ivankov deck and building it and learning it, right, it was like you had to be comfortable discarding and setting up your hand and setting up your situation to dig and find the pieces that you wanted. Now, we knew that we had to dig for our pieces. We knew what the pieces was. We knew what our board we wanted it to look like. Like we knew that part. Now it was the piloting the deck was the chore. It was like, man, this is like harder than we thought, just based on just being comfortable discarding 2K counters, discarding anything with counter power, right? It's easy to discard non-counter cards. It's harder to discard cards with counter power, so on and so forth, right? So it just made me start thinking more. It's like you need to, when building a deck, you just need to figure out your setup. You need to figure out what you want to do, why you want to do it. And now, how this all relates to Arlong? Well, I was like thinking to myself, well, he technically has enough pieces in this game, right? There's so many cards with trigger that is a target for Arlong. Arlong is, he's not future-proofed. He's not future-proofed whatsoever. As you can see, this is the Charlotte Lillian version of the deck. It has the Onami, and it has, I don't know what that dude's name is, but he gets banished when you down X him and he attacks. So having the two sources of banish actually helps. Banish is a strong mechanic. All these things are strong mechanics. We just gotta like figure out how to utilize them. It's kind of weird the route that this game took, even though we got some strong mechanics that's just too accessible when you think about it. Anyway, so with Arlong, it was just like empty calories. Everybody makes an Arlong deck, they load it with trigger characters, and the name of the game is, well, let's just hope we're just getting a bunch of trigger summons. As you kind of saw, we got two, right? Let's just hope we get a bunch of trigger summons, and then we could keep spamming Arlong's ability. And I'm like, wait a minute. I do know that a leader ability that can only get used once to none is probably a leader that is not good to play. But not every leader ability is meant to be spammed. You know, Shanks is different, right? Like there's certain leaders that is like understandable because it's like beyond accessible. But Arlong is technically, in my opinion, not a leader to be using their leader ability every turn. Not even Doflamingo uses his leader ability every turn. So then it's like, okay, we got to find a system, a route to go through. Like, what are we doing here? What is our setup? What is our end game? What is it that we want our board to look like? And that's the challenging part. That is the challenging part. So I guess the easiest thing at this point, I'm surprised we checked the Onami. I feel like we could have technically kept it and then used it to make another punch play. Yeah, they don't got much left. Anyway, back on track. So that's became the new challenge for us when it comes to Arlong. That I was just like, wait a minute, there's so many pieces here. And one of the common things that the new challenge is figuring out a a set play for the deck is what I should say, or maybe I'm using the wrong term, but like just something to go for. Anyway, let me take a step back. So the easiest way to digest Arlong was like, well, you want to make the cards that you play with his ability count, and on play effects are really effective for Arlong. As you can see, the Karubi, as you can see, the Onami, like these are actually effective. Yeah, I would probably save the counter power because we got the you're the one that can disappear along with 2/2Ks. And we got a blocker. We could technically block and then let him all in with the next attack, right? Because that would be 9. Yeah. I mean, it didn't really matter, but in a technical sense, we block. That would make the opponent more comfortable to just eat up the rest of their play and attack. And so if it's in some circumstances, you would want the opponent to all in if you know you can block it, and that just ends their play. It doesn't give them another route. In theory, what that situation could have done was give the opponent a different set of decisions to make. Like, oh, okay, he blocked that attack. Well, I mean, he countered out of that attack and he still has a blocker. There's no point in all in, and I might as well do something else. So just food for thought. Anyway, let me just get these thoughts properly together. Forgive me, everybody. So let me just finish articulating my knowledge of the Arlong. So yeah, that was the core idea I had once upon a time, is use the cards as like an additional effect towards an Arlong swing. Like you can imagine is when attacking, gain banish, when attacking, summon a blocker, when attacking, like on play effects coinciding with your leader kind of just really changes the game up a bit, right? Cool. But that's funny. They discarded their Brûlé and then burned our Brûlé. Oh, they got a homie on the board. That's interesting. So that was like my initial logic for Arlong, and it still applies. It's still a great logic to apply. Like, just trigger cards that can just provide a certain level of benefit. You want to throw those on the board. I'm surprised we didn't just try to get a body on the board. We had enough Dawn, right? That's 3, right? Anyway, so yes, so now with all these trigger characters and more, because Arlong is not future proof, there's going to be more coming out, right? We have a lot of pieces out there. We have a lot. We should be able to make an Arlong deck, right? Arlong should be in a better place than what he's at, in my humble opinion. And then I'm like, so what's the problem here? The problem is finding the valuable system that's worth using with him. That's the problem. It's like, okay, so you got a bunch of trigger characters. What does that mean? That's why I was referring to like the empty calories. It's like, yeah, you got a bunch of trigger characters, but what does that mean at the end of the day? Ooh, they froze us. That's annoying because we can't cheat out a character and get a swing, which would have been extremely effective. Yeah, so it's like, what does it mean? What does it do for you? Yada yada. To have all these trigger characters, and it's like, okay, it's like empty calories. We need to have some sort of set play. So in other words, like a Doflamingo deck, right? You're probably gonna play a 6-drop Boa, which eats up a lot of Dawn, which means there's probably, or even like a Gravity Tiger, or Red Rock, or anything that can just eat up a lot of Dawn. You might have plays that, guess what, you can't use your leader ability. So it's like, okay, what in the deck is gonna make your plays count? Like, what do you have installed in the deck that's just gonna, like, sometimes you use your leader ability, sometimes you use your deck, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to say. Hopefully that makes the most sense. So then it's like, okay, now we know what we want with our leader ability. We have this, that. What the heck? What's the substance in the deck? And that's been the tricky part, finding the most effective combination of the green and the yellow, and there's so much available. So like having Edison and that new guy, I don't know his name, I'm drawing a blank, but same thing, draw 2, trash 2, like having access to these cards, and they're gonna have to scoop it up. Having access to these cards it's just like it definitely puts Arlong in a place where he can fish for his setup, his plays, like whatever it is that he wants. He can definitely have Edison and that guy. And Edison's a 2K counter, if I'm remembering correctly. So it just really works out, mind you. So it's like, wow, you can have a consistent build. You can have those 2 cards plus some other mechanics in there, right? Whatever you want, right? Whether it's like Sanji blocker, Onami, like whatever you're building towards. But you can use these cards, these set of cards, to help you find pieces. And now if that archetype has other what do you call, like a searcher, right? So what you see right here is the Big Mom package, right? Was working with the Big Mom package, but I don't think we loaded the deck up with the Edisons and the whatever that other card is from OP09. We didn't do that, but it's a food for thought. This is all experimental. I'm just putting an idea out there. It's like, okay, well, what is the setup? Do we use green Dolphy? We can't use 10-drop Big Mom, which would have been fun, right? But like, that wouldn't be a good move. So there's like 10-drop Dolphy, like there's this, there's that, yada yada. So I guess that's the message out there. If we can find the substance that can coincide with these trigger characters that we're going to be cheating out with Arlong's ability, if we can find that strong board state, that strong set play, that strong combo route, Arlong, in my humble opinion, should definitely be in a way better place in this meta. There's just so many pieces available, but in my opinion, I think the key is to figure out what the hell you want. You got all this, but what do you want? You chain, I'm just throwing it out there, chain 10-drop Doflamingos, right? Because there's like 8 decks that want to chain their 10 drops, right? Chain 10-drop Doflamingos. Do you want to Hody Jones for game? Do you want to, like, what is it that you want? You got all these pieces, but how do these pieces help you get what you want or set up what you want? So the moment somebody can find a strong situation that is provided by the color combination of green and yellow, then yeah, I could see Arlong being a way better leader. I mean, listen, I wouldn't be surprised if we can come up with, if somebody could come up with a setup, then we can probably come up. Was that a lucky Onami trigger? Are we popping something that we need to pop? Wow, what this situation looks atrocious, to be honest. I'm gonna assume we have to clear board, but anyway, okay, let me finish the thought. But yeah, if something can come out that just says this is a strong situation, then I think on our end, because we've been making the Arlong decks for a long time, we could just probably find a good enough complementary pieces. But I ain't gonna lie, that's probably also the easy part. I'm saying the hard part is finding the setup that you're gonna want that helps you win the game. Those end game setups, those conditions you want to meet, the Exodia pieces you're looking for. And maybe you can say green and yellow doesn't have it yet, because I'll be honest, purple didn't have like a respectable boss card for a long time. Because I promise you, even as great as 9-drop Kaido was, he hurt 90% of the decks he was in. It's like if you wasn't in a win more situation, you was probably gonna lose if you played 9-drop Kaido. So yeah, that's it. So right now we were just messing around with Big Mom cards, and we don't really know, but we're gonna look for one, a setup that just helps you win the game. Oh, interesting. Oh, get some counter power. I respect it. Get some more counter power. Oh my god. That you can call that kind of lucky. So we got one blocker and a crap ton of counter power. I was like surprised we didn't cheat anything out with our leader ability. When you think about it, we could have just did the leader ability with the Brûlée. But I was in thought, so I wasn't even paying attention to what was happening. Like I said, this is just more of an experimental build. God, gotta counter out. And hopefully we're gonna have something really strong in the future for this Arlong deck. It's just going to take some thinking. But like I said, leader's not future proof. So the more cards come out, the stronger he gets. Oh, the constant barrage of attacks. See, that's the importance of making searchers 2,000 power. I'll be honest with you. Dawn stack for game. If that was a 2K, that would have been nuts. G. Thanks for watching.